Is the network marketing team and culture that you're involved with one that inspires greatness or caters to mediocrity? Every week, we get emails from people who want to be guests on this podcast, and it seems like they've really increased over the last few months. The latest from someone who says she's the number 2 money earner in one of the largest essential oil companies in the country. The one question that we always ask when people want to be a guest, we have a little questionnaire we send out, and the one question we always ask is, how many full-time earners do you have on your team? That's the number one thing we want to know as we vet people. And her response was, she went on and on and on and on about how many awards she had won, how she had the largest team in Japan, over 300,000 people on her team. She had spoke on the stage of a guru that I have, a network marketing guru. I'd spoke on the stage with so-and-so, who is someone I have absolutely no respect for. Then she ended with, I'm not sure how many full-time people I have, but I have over 300,000 people on my team. So you would think that I have some. Real network marketing leaders know that the only way to keep score is not on your personal accomplishments, but those accomplishments of your team members. We're going to talk about that and a lot more in this week's podcast.
Welcome to the MLMsuccess.com podcast, the show designed to return the network marketing industry to its roots of personal growth, leadership development, and wisdom of the ages success principles. We share with you real success stories from real people that we hope will inspire and encourage you personally and help you progress forward in your business and your life. We believe if you build people, people will build the business. Now here is your host, who has been called the number 1 mind in network marketing, the MLM prophet, network marketing virtual mentor, and a host of other names that we will not mention because this is a family show. Frankly, he's just a small-town guy that figured out that the real product in network marketing is people. Dale Calvert.
Brian Tracy said it, real leaders don't develop followers, they develop other leaders. Seems like most network marketing, quote-unquote, leaders today have missed the memo or something. Anyway, I admit it. It's absolutely easier creating a large following and an obnoxious income. That is the easiest path for those that enter the profession with transferable skills. If they had some credibility, skill sets, mindsets, leadership abilities when they enter this profession, the easiest path to huge incomes is to create large followers of people. No question about it. I mean, it's been proven over and over again. But as I've said many times, when you take the path of least resistance, you end up achieving about 10% of what, in my opinion, you could have achieved if you just taken the extra time, energy, and effort and really focused on building people and developing real leaders on your team and real customers and so on and so forth, the things that we've been talking about for a long time. Challenging, that's a bad word. Challenging, inspiring, and inspiring people and giving them a clear, predictable path to follow is one of the hardest and most emotionally draining challenges that a person can take on. So I understand why most people avoid it like the plague. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's not fun forcing people to be real with the facts surrounding their thoughts, especially when the two don't mesh, when they aren't the same. Again, people see things not as they are, they see things as they are. We all do. And the ability to see both sides of an issue and to really come to grips with self-limiting beliefs and lack of work ethic and whatever else a person needs to come to grip with in their own life, in their own situation, to sincerely move forward is not very easy to do. It's not fun. It's much easier to just give them a high five and you're the best and make sure you stay on auto ship next month. You're building a volunteer army who all enter the game with different limiting beliefs, mindsets, skills, personal baggage. And the majority of people are afraid to take massive action because as human beings just care too much about what somebody else thinks about them. They just do. However, I know from experience that when all the stars line up, and if you know what you're doing and you're willing to take on the challenge, when the stars line up, right company, right time, right product, compensation plan, everything lines up, proven track record. And that doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you have the opportunity to help people change their lives in a way that will create a ripple effect and a legacy for their family. And you'll be able to sleep good at night and build your own legacy and something that you're proud of. As many of you know, we're building a team that is launching an 8-year-old European company in the United States. We've been all in. Our organization is growing faster than I have ever experienced, ever, as far as growth. Last night, we conducted our first team training where we introduced a retail to recruit system that we're calling the $5 letter, that I know with everything within me will solve the number one challenge this industry has faced ever since we got the great, and I'm being sarcastic, but the great idea to eliminate wholesale retail pricing in this profession and just kind of do away with that in most compensation plans. And that challenge has been a clear path to customer acquisition for everyone, regardless of their level of expertise or experience. Right now, our team members are contacting and focusing on getting in front of, get the video about what's going on in front of the most seasoned network marketing pros that they know, the people on their chicken list, for lack of a better term. We're going at this full bore. I've opened up my weekly call calendar to speak with people one-on-one after they've seen a couple of videos and they have questions and they've got some experience and background. Then I'm opening up my call calendar and I've been taking calls just 10, 12 hours a day. I've made it abundantly clear to our team that I have no interest in meeting anybody or expanding my network or making new friends in the profession. I don't. I'm only interested in speaking with experienced people that understand what it means when the stars line up, and know how to take advantage of it. Many of our team members have been sending those that they are scheduling phone time with me, like they're setting up the time and with whoever, and they're giving me a little bit of background on who they are and what their experience is. And then they're sending a video to the prospect that I did a few years ago. And I actually did this video. It's on YouTube, but I did it to share with people who were registering for our generic training webinars we did for a couple of years. So people who registered for the generic training webinars, in the email confirmation, we were sending them this video that was just an introduction, background, who I am, what I'm about, the philosophy, that type of thing, because I honestly believe that, the most important thing any of us can do is always ask, who is this person and why in the world am I listening to them? Who is this person? Why am I listening to them? We're living in a world where it's full of a lot of people trying to teach others how to do that which they've never done. So I did this video. It's been 4 or 5 years ago. And honestly, I forgot that I even did the video. My intentions when I originally recorded it was to add some pictures and some fly-ins and have someone do a professional voiceover. But I never got to that. It's just like we did it. We got it online. We put it in the email sequence with the thought that we would change it once we updated it or made it more conducive to the market and more professional. But I never got around to it. So it worked, I guess. I mean, the last webinar we did, we were averaging 500 people a week from all over the world, multiple different companies. The last one we did, we had 797 people in attendance. But anyway, some of our insightful, intelligent leaders have been using that. And I think it's a great idea because if they don't know me, I don't know them. They're sending me some information about that person, and then they're sending the person my video where I just talk about, here's who I am, here's what I believe. You probably don't believe this. You probably never heard most of this before, but this is who you're going to be listening to. And if you don't think it's worth the time, then don't attend the webinar. If you do, then it'll make a huge impact for you. So some of our leaders asked if we could get that information on audio. So that's what we're doing in this podcast. I believe, again, before you listen to a word anyone says, you should always look behind the curtain, ask, who is this person? Why am I listening to them? Please keep in mind that this audio is from YouTube. We'll put the link down below if you want to take a look at the photos that are in that I reference to as we're speaking. So I understand many of our regular listeners probably know everything you're getting ready to hear. Others may be hearing it for the very first time because a leader on our APL Go team, our launch team, sent you here. Maybe you're in your automobile or whatever and you're driving and you have an appointment with me, or you're thinking about scheduling an appointment with me and they sent you this. Here's what I know. When a movement gets away from its core fundamentals, there's always unintended consequences. The profession for the last several years has been in the middle of bad, short-sighted decisions that have been made over the past several years. I believe with the right opportunity at the right time that we can start focusing on the things that are going to build long-term businesses, create wealth and legacies. But it takes all the stars have to line up. And if all the stars line up and you've got the right team culture of building people to get people plugged into and helping people become accountable and help people create growth every single month in their business through very systematic, unified systems for customer acquisition, the sky's the limit. So with that, we'll pull the audio from the YouTube video. And, again, this is where I'm coming from. If it makes sense, I hope we have the opportunity to speak.
Hi, my name's Dale Calvert. I want to thank you for registering for our webinar. I really appreciate you giving me the time. I believe the first question anyone should ask themselves before spending their valuable time with anybody trying to teach them anything is, who is this person and why should I be spending time on a webinar with them? Or why should I be attending an event they're hosting? I think it has to go way, way beyond knowing them, liking them, and trusting them. And that's the subject for another topic, but it's something we will be talking about in the future. But it's not just because you know them, like them, trust them, or even can relate to them. I believe in network marketing in any business model is, can they teach me to do what they've done? Have they taught other people? Have those people been able to teach other people? I think there's more intelligent questions to ask ourselves. So the spirit of this webinar, this overview of the webinar, is to just try to give you a little background and history before we actually get into the content on our upcoming webinar. My name again is Dale Calvert. You can go to facebook.com/Dale Calvert page, and you can learn more about me than you would ever want to know. I've been involved in the industry over 30 years. When I first started in the industry, I was driving a little beat-up Chevette. I was living in a small 600 square foot home that you can actually see that right here. There was 4 rooms, and this is a bathroom right here. And I was driving a beat-up Chevette. I was 20. I was ignorant. I knew I was ignorant. I was okay with being ignorant because I knew I had the ability to learn. And I knew that all I had to do was find the proper people to learn from. And that was my mission. I saw a lot of people that in the industry, even way back then, that were talking the talk, but had never really walked the walk. I saw a lot of people that did it on their own personality and drive and work ethic. I call those people Elvis. They were the Elvis of their own business, and I knew I never wanted to be the Elvis of my own business because then I would never have freedom. It was just amazing to me. Over my first 3 years, I was as frustrated and aggravated as most people are. I got tired of going to events and you hear 14 speakers telling you 14 different ways to do the business, the inconsistent message throughout the industry. And it's even worse today. Do you do it online? Do you do it offline? Do you do a combination? Do you do trade shows? What do you do? How do you build this? How do you get this business model, which is fabulous, that offers more time and freedom with the income than anything I've ever seen? How do I get it moving forward? But I just want you to know I did figure it out. I know how I figured it out. And I've been able to teach it to people that have been able to turn around and teach it to other people who have been able to turn around and teach it to other people. And I understand it. I understand the industry and what it takes to build duplicating teams at a level that really the only thing I can say, it haunts me because there's so much misinformation and misguided people in the network marketing profession. If you'd like to hear my whole story, you can go to MLMhelp.com and you can access the Power of a Dream video absolutely free there that will give you a much deeper insight, but it will probably help you understand exactly where I'm coming from. At age 55, again, I started in the industry at 20. Today at 55, actually in July of this year, some things started to come together for me in a unique way. I'm not going to get into all that today. It's time for another story. But I started to understand that all the frustration that I experienced with a lot of the self-proclaimed gurus and a lot of the teachers in the industry, it's just been major frustration. I started to understand that 80% of what they teach is correct, but it's the other 20% that people have to have. Average people have to have in order to move forward in this industry. And for me, it's just been like the blind leading the blind. And I never could figure out if it was just intentional or they just didn't know any better. And I started to understand that I was given an opportunity that 99.99% of network marketers were never given. When I joined the industry in 1980, from the time I joined, I started listening to audio cassettes, hundreds and hundreds, 8 hours a day, 5.5 days a week. I didn't know if the radio in my car worked. I had audios going in my home anytime I was home. And my first 3 hours, I listened to over 7,500 hours of audio from people that had titles but really didn't have the organizations to support those titles, people that had titles, leadership titles, and had huge duplicating organizations. So I learned from a lot of the network marketing quote-unquote leaders from companies like Shackley and Herbalife and Mary Kay and Amway, and I got a lot of insights, a lot of awareness. I listened to many different people, especially my first 2 or 3 years. And I also had the opportunity to listen to Wisdom of the Ages speakers, success principles speakers like Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Earl Nightingale, Og Mandino, Mary Kay, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, and the list goes on and on and on. So my first 3 years, that's what I was doing. I was trying to implement what I was learning, but it was like as soon as I tried to implement one idea, somebody else would say, no, this is the way you do it. And then somebody else would say, no, this is the way you do it. And I was frustrated, confused. Why didn't everybody see what I saw in this business model? Just your normal, typical network marketer talking too much, all the mistakes that everybody makes. And then in 1983, I had to be at IBM at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday to work 6 hours overtime. I got there early, and I had a business and life-altering experience at about 5:51 in the morning. It was October morning at IBM. That experience transformed my business and really my life. And I'll talk about that in another training, but this experience really became the foundational success of my network marketing career. It allowed me to go from nobody knew who I was in 1983 to an award winner with that company in 1984, one of the youngest sales coordinators in that company's history. The next year, 2 of the 5 award winners, 2 of the 5 were frontline to me. Absolutely changed everything. And it's allowed our systems to go on, and we develop hundreds of 6-figure full-time earners on our personal team and outside of our organizations all over the world, people that have implemented the systems that we teach. We're the only person on the planet, except for, I misspelled planet. I did not let my proof for your proof this. We're the only person on the planet, except for some leaders that we've personally worked with, that can show you what it really takes to build a long-term duplicating team. And I believe that. I believe that. I call it the leadership development paradigm shift. And I don't say that because of ego or pride or anything else, other than the fact that, again, I understand now that I was given an opportunity my first 3 years, actually my first 5 years, that most people were never given the opportunity to have. And through the audios and through the Wisdom of the Ages principles and teachers that I was able to tap into. It's been said by the great Larry Thompson, and I believe he got this from a pastor named Franklin Jensen or Jensen Franklin, I can't ever remember that correctly, that every movement, and there's no question network marketing in the 90s was a movement. Every movement goes through 4 stages, and it's the awakening. And then you have the growth, and then you have speculation, and then you have dissipation. The awakening is when people that start the movement do so on solid principles, concepts, and ideas, what I call Wisdom of the Ages ideas. Network marketing was founded upon personal development, people taking responsibility for their own lack of success or their own success. responsibility. Responsibility is almost like a cuss word today. Everybody wants to blame somebody else. We live in a society where it's a lottery mentality. And network marketing is founded upon wisdom of the ages success principles that are all in Think and Grow Rich. It was written in 1936. They're all in the book of Psalms in the Bible. I mean, truth is truth. There's reasons people fail. There's reasons people succeed. It's all right there. It's wisdom of the ages. And that success principle, personal development movement of the 70s was a very, very strong part of network marketing as well. It was telling people the truth. It was helping people develop the right skill sets and mindsets and take on the responsibility necessary to live a successful life. That's what the awakening was about. It was with a compensation plan attached. And then you move into stage 2, which is growth, and it becomes just powerful. And then you move into stage 3, which is speculation. This happened in the mid to late 90s in this industry. And during the speculation stage, people try to find quicker, faster, easier ways to do it. And we start competing with each other. A lot of screwy little comp plans hit the market. And we moved into the speculation stage. And right now, the network marketing industry is in a state of dissipation. It doesn't know what it's doing. We don't know if we're involved in internet marketing, if we're involved in affiliate marketing, if we're CPA marketing, if we're network marketing. We don't know. And we're confused. And I'm not saying there's anything right or wrong, particularly with any of those business models, other than the fact that they should be separated. Because network marketing is about developing leaders. It's about developing people. If you build people, people will build the business. We're not dependent upon some marketing method to create income. If you're involved in affiliate marketing or CPA marketing or some of the other internet marketing business models, then obviously marketing is more important than people. But in network marketing, your real product always has been, always will be people. Your income is in direct proportion to the number of leaders you not find, but develop on your team. So I saw all this happening. I got to live through all this. I kind of got in on I got involved in the industry in the 90s, so it was kind of the tail end of the awakening stage. But a lot of personal development, a lot of taking responsibility, knowing why you're doing the business, just universal success principles that were as valid 50 years ago as they are today and will be as valid 50 years from now. Wisdom of the ages is wisdom of the ages. Truth is truth, and it's not going to change, especially as it relates to the network marketing industry. So when I saw this speculation happening during the 90s, I had already developed an organization with over 200 six-figure earners. We'd helped thousands of people all over the United States and Canada at the time, make significant second incomes that made a difference in their family. We had an awesome product that we could take to the marketplace and retail, and people could make good, a few $100 extra a month, even if they never were involved in building a team. And rolling, just absolutely rolling. And when I saw all this junk start entering the industry, 2-level comp plans, single line, down lines, binaries, people started arguing about which pycnogenol is the best. You started seeing ads in every magazine. We do 80% of the work. You keep 100% of the check. And I just saw this trend towards mediocrity instead of inspiring people and telling people the truth and sharing with people wisdom of the ages principles. We just started to try to recruit each other and compete with each other. And that was extremely upsetting to me. And I did a my first generic training about 95, 96 called Confessions of a Network Marketing Millionaire right here. Just really to try to tell people, hey, there's an alternative to all this junk that's going on right now. And then I did a audio called Network Marketing is a Scam, where I tried to tell the industry, communicate to the industry, look, we're on a dead-end path here. The only people we're going to attract doing what we're doing is not business-minded people. It's greedy people. They're looking for something for nothing because we're telling them that's what we have. And so I did this in the 90s, and I came out with a booklet called Why the Masses of Network Marketers Are Frustrated, Confused, and Don't Have a Clue What They're Doing, because leaders, again, started looking for quicker, faster, easier ways to do it. And you had a lot of really good people in companies that just needed some direction and support. They just needed proper direction, they needed proper systems, and they needed support, and they weren't getting it. And so that's what I was doing towards the end of the 90s. Again, at age 39, the industry made me a multimillionaire by 39. So my focus and my motivation was really to try to prevent the industry from going down the path that I knew it was going down. In 2000, I ended up selling my interest in my businesses, and I said, you know what, I'm done. I can't fight this anymore. It's ridiculous. And I said, there's got to be more business models. And I knew there were other business models where I could help people, make a difference in people's lives, tell them the truth and not to have to fight with all this ignorance that was going on in the industry, where we had just gotten so far away from our foundational roots. But it really wasn't until July 2015 because that I decided to build network marketing support services. When I sold my interest in 2000, my phone started ringing. And people said, Dale, will you come and teach your local lead generation systems to our people? We're having a super Saturday. Dale, will you come and I want your Programming Your Mind for Success package. That thing totally transformed my life. The 15 minutes a day you taught, will you come and teach that to our team? Will you do a conference call? And then companies started calling. Will you consult? Will you train for us? And will you be our keynote speaker? And this whole business was created that I never had one thought about creating. Never wanted to be a generic speaker, trainer, teacher. None of that. 2000, I'm going to pursue other business models. And I have. But the network marketing has always been my bread and butter because I understand it better than I understand anything in the world. And it's always been my bread and butter. It's always, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world and speak and train and teach. And again, it's not something I ever planned on doing. All I wanted to do was build a team and help those people build teams and escape the 9 to 5. That's all I ever wanted from the industry. I had never had the desire to become wealthy. But in July 2015, again, my goal was never to coach, consult, mentor, seminar, keynote speak, any of that. And when I got started, I'd never planned on sharing any of our systems outside of our personal organization, but it kind of all happened by accident. And then in July 2015, I said, you know what? I'm going to give the industry the time, energy, effort that I never have to try to make a difference. Because if somebody doesn't do something right now, the dissipation is just going to continue. So this is a picture that my wife took here recently in our recording studio. You can see that's my old house there. My beat up Chevette. Right there, there's a plaque that I had put on this picture, and it said, never forget. Never forget where you started. So what happened around 2000 is I had done a event for a network marketing cruise a few months earlier, and there was like 10 or 12, 15 gurus on the cruise. And I couldn't believe it, but they actually asked me to be one of the speakers. And again, I'm building teams, guys. I'm not worried about what's going on around me. I'm focused on building my people the way I know to build them, to develop their internal leadership. I know what to do. I've done it, duplicated it. So all that's going on around the industry, it's just like it's making me sick, but I don't want to spend a lot of time paying any attention to it because it's not valuable. But this guy called and he said, Dale, we're having this cruise and we're going to have different leaders. And he started telling me the people, and like, I knew all of them, heard of them. And he said, would you come and be one of the speakers? I said, sure. So I did. Well, we got there and there was about 130, maybe 140 people in attendance on this Caribbean cruise. And over 100 were on my personal team. And I'm thinking, where are all these other people's teams? Did they not have the money to come? What's the deal? I thought there would be 1,000 at least. If I have 114 people, I have 100. There's got to be at least 1,000 people. There was 140, over 100 were on my team. And that was a warning sign for me. It really was. It wasn't an ego stroke. It was a warning sign. But I did my training, and honestly, I felt like this is a waste because everybody here's they could teach it as well as I can. These are my people. They understand this system. They're doing it every week. They know it. They get it. They understand it. But I did, and not too long after that, this gentleman called me and he said, Dale, I've been putting together this Insider Secrets to Network Marketing Success package, which that's what I'm holding in this picture here. And he said, I need one more spot. And he said, I'd like to include your training from the cruise. I said, sure, that'd be awesome. So that comes out, and I couldn't believe it. I'm on there with Jim Rohn, Big Al. I mean, these big name people that I have heard of and had their books and tapes for years, and I'm included in that. This kid from Stamping Ground, Kentucky, population 400. So that's what happened, guys, my first 20 years. And when this audio came out on the back here, because of the confessions that I'd put out a couple years earlier and the scam and frustrated, I had people that were calling and wanting me to coach and do all that, and I wouldn't do it. And finally I said, okay, I'll do it, but it's $500 an hour. And because I had a site, MLMhelp.com, which was one of the first network marketing websites, training sites online, and I really did that more to support my people, but of course everybody in every company started to find it. So when this came out, this is what they said on the back of this program about Dale Calvert. Tape number 7. Dale typically charges $500 an hour for consulting, and people gladly pay it. Why? Because what Dale does and teaches has enabled dozens of people to reach millionaire status while building their network marketing business. Dale is not known to candy coat things. In fact, Dale's one of the most controversial individuals in our industry, simply because he speaks his mind. And see, that kind of broke my heart. I didn't know I was one of the most controversial people in the industry. I didn't even know anybody in the industry even knew who I was, because my focus was on building my personal teams. But he goes on to say he's built an organization in excess of 60,000 distributors, has done over in excess of $100 million in wholesale sales, has become a multimillionaire as a result of this industry. In this tape, Dale will share with you how to sack, sponsor, activate, and keep distributors. And that kind of, it didn't bother me. I know the guy. He stayed at my house. He's a friend. He's a good guy, good-hearted guy. But the fact that I was perceived to be controversial simply because I spoke my mind, I was speaking my mind to tell the industry we cannot continue to do things the way we've done it. or there's going to be consequences. And when a movement gets away from its core values, there is always unintended consequences. And I think we're right in the middle of that today. Those unintended consequences, we're paying the price for it right now, in my opinion. See, the entrepreneurialism is the whole entrepreneurial movement is larger right now than it's ever been around the world. And network marketing should be kicking butt and taking names. It should be the obvious choice for people that want to become entrepreneurs. But it's not. It's avoided like the plague. Why? Because of the mistakes that we made in the 90s, trying to get away from our foundational principles and make things quicker, faster, and easier. David Ledoux, some of you may have heard of David. He was one of my very first coaching clients back in 1999. He has since retired from the network marketing industry after making millions of dollars. He was voted actually in 2002 the Network Marketer of the Year. He started a brand you may have heard of called I Love MLM. I think the last I heard, David is writing books on gardening and his passion, which is gardening. He's retired and just enjoying life. But I did find on one of his old network marketing sites, he says, how many MLM gurus even have a downline? Very few. Most jumped around a few junky deals in the early 80s and have sat back to sell books about their theories. That's why we see so much regurgitated crap in our industry. I agree with David 1,000%. But again, he also wrote a book called How I Went from Welfare to Millionaire Without Winning the Lottery. It was a bestseller on Amazon. When I met him, he was in Toronto, living in a van, and but very teachable, very hungry, very determined to get it done and get it done right, to do it right, to build large duplicating organizations, to not be the Elvis of his business, and to really teach people how to do it and how to do it correctly so it could duplicate. So around 2000, I wrote this article. It was in the largest publication for network marketing owners and corporate executives at the time, because I was beyond concerned, really. And it was Inspire Greatness or Cater to Mediocrity. And I was talking about what I'd been talking about previously to that, and it's that I believe this industry has to return to our roots of personal development and personal growth. We must create a culture that inspires people to learn, grow, develop, and become all they can be. And unfortunately, at this point, it was just the opposite of that, and it has not gotten any better in the last 15 years. So why should you listen to me? I would say track record. If you just compare what I've done over the years, the people that we've developed versus other self-proclaimed gurus and coaches and teachers and trainers that are in the industry, a lot of people talk about what they've done, but very few will give you examples and numbers. And those that do, we all know their backstory that have been around a while, and it's frightening. It makes me throw up in my mouth, honestly. It really does. And it's not that they're bad people necessarily. I've always tried to give people the benefit of the doubt. But, okay, so you did this, but how did you really do it? Because there's a lot of people that developed their name first, then they decided to build a downline. After they had already taught people how to build downlines, which they had never built, then they decided to join a company. And, of course, because everybody considered them a guru, a lot of people joined. And it's like, it's ridiculous. It's just a big game that makes me sick, honestly. I have such a disdain for what I see in the industry. There is a lot of really, really good people that just don't know any better, but a lot of them do know better. They do know better. So I can help you develop the skill sets, mindsets, and team building systems required to build a long-term duplicating organization, team of people. Network marketing is not just about getting them in. It's about keeping them in and helping them move forward. That's the game. Again, when an industry, organization, or business model movement is in dissipation, the only way to return to growth is for a few people to decide to return it to its foundational roots. And that's from Jensen Franklin / Larry Thompson. And I believe that. I believe that principle is true. So that's kind of the spirit in which I'm approaching everything that I'm doing since July of 2015. Here's just a couple quick testimonies for you guys. This is the former MLM loser, Scott Miller, awesome human being. He said, when I met Dale Calvert, I'd been involved in the network marketing profession 10 years. By the grace of God, I'd made it to the top position in my company, and I was earning over $200,000 a year. Like many MLM leaders, most of my team loved me, but financially they weren't doing that well. I learned more from Dale Calvert in 90 days about leading a team of people than most people will learn in their lifetime. He understands how to systematically build a team, and he can teach it better than any network marketer that has ever walked the planet Earth. His results are undisputable, but that's from my friend Scott Miller, and that's pretty much the story there. I mean, he hired me as a consultant, and great human being. Many of you know Mike Patillo. Probably some of you have seen his video when he tried out to be on the Apprentice TV show. It was actually done in my home at the time in Lexington, Kentucky. He's now the driving force behind It Works. Mike started with me as an $8 employee, $8 an hour employee. He joined his first company was our company. I met him at a conference the first time, and I said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I go to college." And he said, "I go to school. I go to college." I said, "What for?" And I was asking, like, "What is your major?" And he looked at me just with a blank stare when I said, "What for?" And he looked at me with just this blank stare, and I don't even know if he answered the question, but that's the first time I met him. It was like 30 seconds. Next thing I know, the kids went home and quit college. And I wasn't saying, "Why are you going to college?" I said, I meant, "What is your major?" But anyway, exciting, excitable, dominant child, awesome young man I guess he's getting older now. He's got a couple of kids, and again, the driving force behind It Works, Mike Patillo. This is Courtney Looper. Courtney was rated the number 3 female network marketer in 2015. And this is what she says about our Profit CD, which is only available on Amazon at the present time. It says, Dale Calvert is amazing. If you are a network marketing industry, this CD is a must. It will take you to the next level. I've only been in the industry 2 years. She's been in the industry 2 years. She's made over $1 million in commissions. Anyway, 2 years, and I've followed him and his teachings the entire time. He puts everything out there in simple terms so anyone can have success in this industry. Great job, Dale. Can't wait to see what you come out next with. So that's from Courtney Looper. This is from Tim Miller. Also, Tim was rated number 38 male and network marketer in 2015. He says, here's the one thing that changed my life. I highly recommend it if you're in the industry to get this. I spoke about it at convention. And he's got a picture there of my Confessions of a Network Marketing Millionaire training program that we did, as we talked about earlier. Barry Donaldson, rated number 10 male network marketer in 2015. He said, I bought Dale's Confessions of a Network Marketing Millionaire program when it was first released. It catapulted my career and how I built my team. So again, guys, I've got a lot of testimonies from a lot of people that you know of. But for me, really, the people I'm the most proud of and honored to have worked with are probably people you've never heard of. When we were building, we developed a leadership team of over 200 six-figure earners, and 95% of them were what I call 27%ers, just good, honest, hardworking people that just needed the proper direction. People like Carol and Roy Ely here, who was a housewife. Roy drove UPS truck. Good people, small town, Corbin, Kentucky. Their son was going off to college. Carol was looking for something to do. That's when we found each other. One of the most teachable people I've ever worked with. She understood the concept that you have to love people enough to tell them the truth, not tell them what they need to hear, which, we look online today, all we see is a bunch of people just trying to build followings, just trying to build their brands, trying to stroke people's ego and tell them what they need to hear. And then people wonder why they're following these people and they're not progressing. It's because real leadership is willing to tell people what they need to hear, not just what they want to hear.
So that's it. I believe that the network marketing profession has been focused on all the wrong things since the internet went mainstream, but it's not the internet's fault. The internet is the most valuable tool by far that's ever hit the business world. I also understand that when a movement gets away from its core fundamentals and gets into a state of dissipation, the only way for a movement to return to a state of growth is to return to the core fundamentals which created the growth to start the movement to begin with. However, in the network marketing business model, the real product always has been and always will be people. If you build people, people will build the business. And the profession's gotten so far away from that philosophy that, quite frankly, for me, I saw no chance for recovery. None. Just so far away from the foundations on which it was built. Everybody looking for the magic foo-foo dust, the magic phrase, funnel, hack, shortcut, and gurus willing to promise that every time they open up their email. However, you just never know. It's amazing how things can change sometimes. Because APL Go is an 8-year-old established company outside the United States. Unbelievable track record of success. I don't think this could have started inside the U.S. is what I'm saying. But because the track record of success has already been established, it makes it very predictable about what's happening and why it is happening in the United States as we speak. And, I think there's a chance to do something really special here, especially in the beginning, if you create the rock solid culture around income generating activities and personal development, personal accountability. I think something can be created that this industry hasn't seen in a long, long time. Our company owner started in the field when he was 17 years old, from humble beginnings. 17 years old, his uncle wanted his mom to go to an opportunity meeting. She couldn't go. He went with him, 17-year-old teenager, and the rest is history. Made his first million at age 21. Then, as many of us do, got real disgusted with the false promises and the money games that were trying to disguise themselves as legitimate network marketing companies. As the owner, he understands the people in the field write his check. They've had the same compensation plan they had after year one for the last 7 years. He said, I see no reason we would ever change it. It's working. Sergio, that's his name. Sergio says that in a conversation that we were having, says he has a go to have more, and he said this publicly on multiple videos. He says, I have a go to have more self-made millionaires in my company than any network marketing company in the world. That is so much more significant than people might first realize. I can tell you without question, I believe him. It's no fluff. But can you imagine another company owner making such a statement, and honestly, you can feel their expectation that it's going to happen? I mean, we're in a culture, network marketing has not, it's always, for me, been about wealth creation. It's about changing people's lives. It's about changing the trajectories of families forever. But most companies are just talking about the new little red wagon, I call it, the new product that we're coming out with that's going to change everything. And every 3 or 4 months they're introducing a new little red wagon to keep people occupied and they can play with for a while. And their main goal seems to be, like most field leaders, and that's just keeping people on auto ship one more month. And then you got some owner that says, I want to create more millionaires than any company that's ever been created in this profession. I want more millionaires to be on my company, on my team, than any other company, and mean it. Man, I can get excited about that. And some of you can as well, because we're tired of the mealy mouth. We're tired of the catering to mediocrity. He's providing a category creating product. They manufacture their own product. They own the manufacturing facility. They own all the patents and the research around the product. And it's the most lucrative comp plan that I've seen in 40 years. So if someone sent you this podcast and you're a leader that's really ready to build a legacy, and I don't use those terms or those words lightly. I mean, I mean it. If you're really ready, then I hope you'll get back with the person that sent you to this podcast, and they can get you on my call calendar. And, I get it. It sounds like your normal blah, blah, blah MLM hype. But I believe that when people can step back and just look at the facts, 17-year-old, when he got involved in network marketing, look at the owner, look at his attitude, look at the connection he has with the people that have been with him around the world for the last 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years. None of us know the future. All any of us can do is make the best decision we can at the time we make it with the facts that we have. But to ignore the facts is not very smart. You can't just throw all the apples in the basket, every now and then. It doesn't happen very often. I've only seen it happen 4, 5, 6 times in 40 years. But every now and then the stars really do line up. And again, at the time of this recording, I've only been here 3 weeks, and I'm documenting the game plan and the journey for the whole world to witness, because I am beyond confident about what's getting ready to happen. And I'm just beyond confident. I've never seen anything grow as fast as I'm watching this grow. And like anybody, when they're starting something new with a new organization that they're unfamiliar with, I'm working on my 4 beliefs. At least in the company, my belief in the product is pretty much solidified. The ones that we've taken and the results of the immediate gratification we're getting from them, and not just us, but a lot of our customers as well. But, belief in the company, I've been working on that. Belief in the product. The network marketing business model, honestly, I've lost all belief. Honestly, I love the profession. I love the business model, but I'm sickened by what it's become. But I also understand that every now and then something rises above the pack that is true, that is psychologically congruent with the way people act and think, where you can help people make profits really quickly on the front end. And if that happens, then leadership can create wealth on the back end. So belief in the company, the product, the culture of this team, I believe in, because I know what we're doing. I know the culture that we're developing. So belief in the company, the product, the the team or the industry, and then of course yourself. And, I believe I know. I have all the belief in the world in myself as it relates to what it really takes to help people move forward and achieve their dreams and their goals and their desires with this business model. But you can have all that in place and right and correct. But if the stars aren't lined up, if there's a leg of the stool missing, it's not really worth the time, energy, and effort that you put into it. But if you're in the right place at the right time with the right company and the stars do line up and you have the right team culture and you're willing to do your part, the upside potential is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I know what to look for. I understand the red flags. You and I both know that network marketing's become a big social club that caters to mediocrity in hopes of keeping people on auto ship one more month. I believe as leaders, you can take the easy road and just stroke people's ego and tell them what they want to hear. It's been done over and over and over the past 20 years in this profession, and by many politicians for that matter. We've all seen it. It's just changed. Or you can say, you're part of the free enterprise system. Your past doesn't have to equal your future unless you want it to. Here's an opportunity that is sincerely, truly worthy of your biggest dreams and your best efforts. Let's go for it. It's hard to inspire greatness when you don't have a clear, systematic path to help everyone achieve their full upside potential. In network marketing, that path has to be centered around true customer acquisition, where people are consuming and loving and using the products because of the results that they're getting, and they have absolutely no interest in the business. They just love the product. And when you have a true path to customer acquisition that can be predictably implemented by newbies and people that don't have a lot of experience, and they can get results and they can have growth in their business month after month, nothing's going to stop it. And if you know me, you know that path, those systems will be in place. And honestly, I think my track record indicates that to be a fact. I understand it at a level that it haunts me. And I know that what I do and what we teach is different than 99% of network marketers in the world. I also respect the fact that every network marketer listening to this podcast has talent, skills, and abilities that I don't have. And I understand that. I mean, I put together systems that give the 27%ers who are willing to work on themselves a chance to not just win, but to win at a level that they really never dreamed possible. Provided, again, the stars have lined up and they're with the right company at the right time in history. So if we need to talk, get back with the person that sent you this podcast. If you happen to find this by accident and you feel totally lost, like what's this guy talking about? And you're curious, if you are, I would suggest that you go back and start at session 194, or you can just simply go over to aplgousa.com. This is Dale Calvert. I'll talk with you next week on another session of the MLM Success Podcast. You guys have an awesome week.
If you haven't gone over to iTunes yet and rated and left this podcast a review, what are you waiting for? At Calvert Marketing Group, we want to spend our time on the projects that we know are providing the most value for our clients and customers. You leaving us a review and feedback on iTunes is something that helps us more than you realize. And more importantly, it helps others like you find us. So if you've not taken the time to rate this podcast, please go over to iTunes and do that for us now. It will only take a couple of minutes out of your busy schedule. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and we will be back next week with another inspiring success story, wisdom of the ages training, or answers to your questions.